I did not expect this to happen when I started dating someone new, and it's been a bit of a shock to me over the last few weeks, some of the things that have actually been coming up since I started dating this guy in January. So I thought I'd do a quick little episode on that, what's been going on, what I didn't expect, so that hopefully when you start seeing someone new, or when you enter a new relationship or things start going well with someone that you're dating, you are not as shocked as I am. Let's go. Welcome to the Date with Confidence podcast, a place to come for dating advice, support, and stories that'll either fill you with hope or relief that your dating experience wasn't as bad as it could have been, with practical episodes that'll provide you with easy to implement tips to help you feel confident AF on your next date, alongside lighthearted catch-ups where your host Rebecca, that's me by the way, shares her own experience dating after 4 years of the single life. You are guaranteed to end each episode feeling less alone in your dating struggles, empowered to never settle again, and confident that the best is yet to come. And if it all falls to shit, there's a special first season dedicated to breakups. You are welcome, my friend. Subscribe, review, and share with your single friends. So I started dating this guy in January, and before that I'd been single for long term for over 4 years, and I'd been actively dating for about 2 years on and off, taking breaks in between, and then I had a big period over the summer, kind of autumn last year, where I went on a load of first dates. And I felt like in all the time that I was single, in all the time after the last breakup, I had done a shit ton of work on myself. And I had done a shit, it's not like I felt like I had done a shit ton of work. I had done a shit ton of work on myself. I had released a lot of the past. I'd been doing breath work for a year to really shift all the trauma and the pain and the heartbreak from my body. I'd done all the things. I'd had one-to-one coaching for 6 months with my mindset coach who I've worked with on and off the past 3-4 years. Anyway, I did all the things to help me get over that relationship and really process it, really process the relationship itself, but then process the breakup. Because one mistake I made in my 20s is when I went through a really traumatic breakup at 21, I didn't actually deal with it very well. My response and the way that I handled things was to just get drunk a lot, really, and then leave the country. I essentially ran away from my problems, thinking that if I moved to Thailand by myself, then I wouldn't be dealing with the same emotional fallout from that relationship. And obviously I was incredibly wrong, but that's how I dealt with things. Alcohol, running away. So when this last breakup happened when I was 28, so yeah, it was 4 and a bit years ago, so just before I turned 29, I threw myself in to healing myself, to processing that relationship, to processing the breakup, so that when it came to dating again, and even though I was in absolutely zero rush to date again, I knew that by the time I started dating again, I wanted to be healed. I naively thought that I would be completely and utterly healed, and I would enter a new relationship completely fresh, no trauma sticking around, no bad patterns, no fears, no worries, no what ifs, no nothing. I'd be able to enter a brand new relationship completely trusting, 100% confident, which we know is a lie because 100% confidence doesn't actually exist. But I would just be able to enter things from a new, fresh place without any of my past coming into it. However, this year has been the first time that I've been dating someone ongoing. So it's been a couple of months now, although I haven't actually seen him for the last 3 weeks, but it's been ongoing for the last couple of months, since January, since our first date. And so many things, so many triggers, so many memories, so many moments from my past relationship have come up since I've been dating this guy, and I did not expect it at all, because I thought that I'd left the past in the past. I thought I'd moved on, and it wasn't until the other day when I was watching, I think it was on Instagram actually, I saw it and there was a reel on there. Let me just find the reel because it was really poignant, and I was like, okay, like this makes so much sense. I wasn't expecting this, but now you've said it, it's actually made me feel better, because I've been thinking about and dreaming about my ex a lot recently. Not because I miss him, not because I want to be with him, not because I'm not over the breakup, but so many thoughts of him have come up, and it really shocked me. And then I saw this reel on Instagram and it said, my therapist said that once you're experiencing a healthy relationship, it's normal for sadness, hurt and anger about a previous one to resurface, because you're coming face to face with what you were missing out on, and you need to give yourself permission to grieve that without feeling like you're stuck or unable to move on. And this was Scarlett Longstreet is the Instagram handle if you want to go and see that. But it made so much sense to me. I was like, oh my god, I'd almost been feeling a little bit guilty that I was enjoying these new moments with this new guy, and I was enjoying getting to know him. I'm enjoying his company, I'm enjoying the way that things are unfolding, but then there was that massive part of me that felt so guilty because all these memories of my ex kept coming up, and I've been dreaming about my ex a lot, and I've been dreaming about my ex's family a lot, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I thinking back to these moments in the past? And it's because I'm finally experiencing things that I wished and hoped and desperately wanted my ex to do as part of the relationship that I desired, and it never happened. So there's almost this part of me that has still got some grief stuck from the ending of that relationship, and that would never have come to light until I started entertaining the idea of a relationship with someone new, with someone different. And it really shocked me, and I wasn't prepared for it. And I found it a little bit hard, to be honest. I found it tricky to know how to deal with it and to not feel guilty about it. And when these memories and moments and dreams come up about my ex, it puts me in a really shitty mood. Like, it can leave me feeling really emotional. It can leave me feeling really down, really low, really sad, almost like bringing up the same feelings of the heartbreak, just on a lower scale than what I experienced at the time of actually going through the breakup. And that in itself is heavy. That feels heavy to have to deal with. So I'm really trying to be kind to myself, to accept these feelings. And one thing that I have to constantly remind myself is that I don't want what I had with my ex. I don't want what I had with my ex. I definitely don't want my ex. I don't want that past. And it's almost like I have to reconvince myself that I am absolutely better off without him, and reassure myself that that is not a relationship that I want to be in or that I deserve to be in anymore. So repeatedly telling myself those things. And it's also interesting, on a slightly different note, the way that the new things, or the way that I don't know how to explain this. So for example, this weekend, the guy that I'm seeing has gone to stay with friends, and I was absolutely fine with that. Like, I don't care what you do. Like, I have a social life, you have a social life. Amazing. He's gone to stay with friends, and it wasn't until he was there that past memories from my past relationship, like, I felt triggered from my past relationship, because whenever my ex would go and stay with friends, whenever we would be apart, because we did long distance for quite a while, even whenever he'd go on nights out, like, I didn't trust him at all in the slightest. I was like pretty convinced that he would get really drunk, he would hook up with someone, or he would flirt with someone, or he would just not give a fuck about me and our relationship. And when this guy was going away for the weekend, the way that he behaved for a start was completely different. He messaged me on the Friday night saying that he'd check in with me as and when he could. He messaged me on the Saturday morning when he got to his friends to say, I've just got here, I'm going to charge my phone, but I'll message you in a couple of hours. Lo and behold, a few hours later, he messaged me to say that he was having a really good time and how was my day, and continued messaging a couple of times that night. And then this morning he got up and messaged me to say that he'd had a really good night and this is what they were doing, and we've been in contact, and that at no point have I got any reason to think that he is there hooking up with someone else. Like, that's just not the vibe that I get. And knowing who I've got to know over the past few months, I don't think he's that sort of person. But there was this flicker of doubt in my mind that what if there's another single girl there and he ends up sharing a bed with them and he ends up sleeping with them, just like your ex probably would have done. And I had to reassure myself again and say, he is not your ex. He is not your ex. He is not your ex. And I find that that's the best thing that gets me through those moments where I relive my past relationship, or I apply the behaviours of my ex to this current guy that I'm seeing without meaning to. I have to constantly remind myself, he's not your ex, he's not your ex, he's not your ex. So I think it's completely normal when you do start seeing someone new, or when things are going well with someone that's treating you really well. I think it's completely normal for you to have those moments of hurt and of sadness and of upset about your previous relationship, and those memories coming back from your previous relationship, especially as, I don't know about you, but being single for so long, there's so many aspects of a relationship that I forgot existed. So things like your little in-jokes, things like forehead kisses in the morning. Like, I absolutely love it. And the guy that I'm dating does this. When he gets up for work in the morning and leaves me in bed, he kisses me on the head. Now, most of the time he thinks I'm asleep. Most of the time I'm awake and I feel it and I know it's happened. And tiny little things like that, you don't experience that anywhere other than when you're in a relationship. And I forgot about things like that actually existing and actually being a thing. And I forgot how much tiny little gestures like that bring me so much joy and make me feel so special. So when things like that happen, and when you're reminded of all the wonderful things that can come from being within a relationship with someone, it's so natural for you to then reflect back on your past relationships and then think about your exes more. So if you're like me and feel guilty for that, or feel ashamed for thinking about back to the past, like, don't. It's completely natural to do that. It's okay. But instead of focusing and over-analysing and obsessing over those past moments, acknowledge them, let them go, and then choose to focus your attention on this new scenario, on this new relationship or whatever's going on. That is what I've been doing personally, and it has really been helping me. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If this has been helpful, or if you've got any questions that you want to follow up with, then don't forget that you can contribute to the Date with Confidence podcast. Just go to datewithconfidencepodcast.com/contribute, and don't forget that on Mondays are our Loved Up days. So if you're not inside the Loved Up membership yet and you really want some support with your dating life over the next 6 or 12 months, then join the Loved Up membership. You can currently join at the founders rate until the 12th of April. So it's a super affordable, accessible way for you to come and receive confidence coaching from me on a weekly basis, so that you can date with confidence, build better boundaries, so that you can navigate these new relationships if you're getting into a relationship, so that you can find support if you don't know how to respond to someone, if you've been ghosted, if you're doubting yourself, if you're feeling low, whatever it is. Loved Up is the place to be. And if you want an even greater level support, then you can also check out Level Up in Love. The resources are there for you in the show notes. Go and check them out, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Date with Confidence podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Subscribe, rate and review, and share it with your single friends.